As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everyone, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. What's up, Shoots?
What do you want?
We can tell everybody that it took me 3 tries to get our intro right because I forgot the words because I'm still a little brain dead.
Yeah, very brain dead. Usually these cold openings just kind of come to me.
Yeah.
I got fucking nothing, dude.
Oh, you're
dead.
You're ice cold?
Ice. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Very.
I will let everybody know I lit a fire. So we're in my back room. That's the studio. And it's an awesome room. It's got like a nice brick wall to it. It was an addition later on when they built the house. It's also got this beautiful wood fireplace, like a stove in the back. But due to poor insulation, it gets a little chilly back here. So the bros are cozied up by a fire right now.
I might fall asleep. I'm
you
not
can't
gonna
do
lie.
that. You can't do that because we got things that we need to discuss on here.
Has anybody ever fallen asleep on a podcast? Just like, it
I'm
has nothing
sure
to do
it's
with the
happened.
content or anything that we're doing. It's just me
Yeah, actually, you
being
know
too
what?
cozy.
Part of my take, Billy Football fell asleep on one.
Oh, that was
And
on a
he was
Zoom,
in the
yeah.
doghouse for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. There's one.
There's one.
All right,
But
there we go.
I'll cold open you. So we got back from LA. It was an amazing weekend. The boys balled out in
Hold on. Before we move forward, what do you mean you'll cold open me?
I'll cold open you.
That sounds hot.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in now. I'm back. I'm back.
That's all I needed
Yeah,
to do. I needed
yeah.
to get you riled up a little
Yep,
bit.
a little aroused. I'm ready to roll.
Okay, cool. Let me cold open you again. So we spent the weekend in LA at my brother's house in, how do you say it?
Los Felix.
Los Felix, as Shooter calls it. Either Los Feliz or Los Felix were his 2 beginning options. We got it down to Los Feliz. That's how the locals say it.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about what the locals say. I just start reading signs, and
Well,
I didn't get myself into too much trouble, which is good, because I did say, I think on our Uber from LAX to his house, about 5 or 6 different things completely incorrect.
Yes.
So I just kind of kept my mouth shut.
Well, I want to do this because for the longest time, you've had some preconceived notions about LA. You seem to have some negativity towards LA, if you will. So after spending the weekend there, because I like LA, I love visiting LA. I'm definitely not a West Coaster where I could live out there, but I love visiting like 3, 4, 5 days and then get me back out of there. Perfect. What are your thoughts?
I think my thoughts, the positive takeaways,
Let me go. Yeah, let's do that.
probably have nothing to do with the city itself.
Okay.
The positive takeaways are the weather.
Yeah.
Great weather, which we looked like clowns Saturday or Sunday morning walking around because we had shorts and t-shirts on. I guess it's winter for them. So there's people walking around with like their hoodies and vests and they're all puffed up and it's freezing to them. I was having a great time.
Yeah.
So we clearly did not look like locals. However, great weather. I also love the time difference. The idea that I can watch football at 10 a.m. and then the Sunday night games at 5, which we didn't get to catch anyway, which wasn't a good game. But I love the idea of that.
Yeah.
As far as the city itself,
Not
I
the
think I do need to
city.
see, maybe not the city, but the area. Like I liked where we stayed.
That was a cool. Brooks's spots are really good. Like that Los Feliz area, like right near the Silver Lake.
Silver
and all
Lake,
that,
yeah. Those places were really cool. I like that, which, I don't know if that goes to show you what LA is, but the city itself, still not impressed.
Well, we went downtown and had like an LA brunch at Perch, which was great.
You want to
with
tell the
some-
story after?
That we were walking around the jewelry district and saw a big pile of human shit on the sidewalk that somebody had unfortunately stepped in and did like a cartoon slip on.
Yeah.
Like you could clearly see the heel where they landed in the poop. Hey, we're back to poop. See, things are normal again. We're home.
Yeah, things are back. We're home. Back to the poop.
But
Yeah,
they slipped on the poop.
we fell for the trap that pretty much every traveler to every city ever falls for.
Yep.
Hey, let's go grab some brunch. I had a few drinks. Oh, there's a dispensary nearby. Let's just walk and not figure out where we are.
We'll just bop around and we got to see some of the city. It wasn't like the coolest area ever. We did see a pile of poop, but the brunch spot was great. Perch was dope.
Perch was really good. Just, downtown LA. And like, look, we're from Philly, so I'm not putting my nose up in the air to
Not
anybody.
at all.
Our city is gross in some areas,
But we love it.
but we do love it.
I will say.
I was just underimpressed with how much there was. There wasn't like a lot to do.
Not in the downtown area. I think
No.
that's, again, the surrounding. I don't know that much
There were
about
no
it either.
restaurants. There's no bars. It was just like jewelry stores, cash for gold, which, come to think of it, now that we're saying it out loud, we probably should have realized where we were before, but you know
Yeah, what
what?
are you going to do? But the show was amazing. We had an absolute blast with everybody there. It was a giant ensemble of Bravo content creators. Reza was there. Gigi was there. Dodie was there. All of them were great. Reza was hysterical. Dodie let some shit slip on stage, which was funny.
Yep, always good.
We hung out with Luke, her boyfriend, for a while. Pleasure as always. But we had a really nice time out in LA. Had a great show. We're really happy to be back in our like comfort zones. We were talking about that like pre-show. These seats in here, like this room, like brings us back to neutral.
It does. It honestly does. And I just found out, which is great for Bravo content, I don't have to go to the office for like a month.
Let's go.
We just get to do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah, no rules.
No rules. Just kidding. I still have to work at home. But
There's one rule.
we did, in true fashion, true bro fashion, make sure that we got the flight so that we could get home in time for the birds last night. And the funny thing is, everybody that I've talked to, including your wife when I came over last night, they're like, are you guys not tired of each other yet? I think we spend so much time together now that it just doesn't matter.
No,
I
it
think
doesn't.
after like obviously today, I don't have to see you for a couple of days.
Thank God.
Fine by both of us. However, no, every person I talked to, I called my mom today, let her know how the trip was. She's like, where'd you watch the game last night? Oh, Steels. Why? You guys aren't tired of each other?
We come attached.
Yeah, you gave me a cold open and now we're
Yeah.
just joined
Now we're
somewhere.
just attached at the tip. Hip.
Is it a new human centipede?
Yeah.
Surgically attached
I
to
don't
the
like
tip.
this at all. I don't like this. Let's get to Bravo stuff. Enough of your nonsense. We're delirious.
Yeah, we
So-
are. This is going to be a fun episode for everybody listening.
Yeah, good luck. But we need to talk about some power rankings because it's that time of the week. So I'm going to go first this week. And I've got 5 being Potomac.
Okay.
I've got 4 for Beverly Hills. I've got 3 Miami, 2 Salt Lake, 1 Southern Charm still.
Okay. I think that's pretty good. I've got Miami at 5.
Okay.
Still need to see more. I know that we didn't really get a whole lot last week. Obviously, the Larsa of it all, while it's good TV, I didn't really enjoy it. So, it's not enough for them to bump up anywhere. But again, it's not a bad 5. It's not an OC 5, if you will. It's just,
Well, OC was never 5. OC was like 50.
that number just kept growing. It was great. So, yeah, I've got Miami at 5. I'm going to put Potomac at 4, Beverly Hills 3, Salt Lake 2, Southern Charm 1.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm with you. That's why these are tougher power rankings than we've had. 'Cause there's no like standout bad shows right now.
Yeah, it's a
They're
good
all
problem to
enjoyable.
have.
Yeah,
We actually have to think.
For sure. But I think Southern Charm is just above and beyond the other shows though, which is interesting because like everyone's having a good season. Southern Charm, this could be one of their best seasons ever, and I might get some shit for that. But it is
I
so
don't think you
good.
would. I feel like this is their best season ever. Like, you can tell every episode, and while there's still overlaying issues and there's a storyline, if you will, there's new evidence, there's new conversations that come into play pretty much every week. So it doesn't seem like it's getting stale, even though they're not coming up with new information. They're not coming up with like a new aspect or a fight or whatever you want to say. It's just getting deeper and deeper, and they're answering the questions that we kind of want the answers to.
I think that a big part of it is like we're used to scandals, obviously, relationship scandals, cheating scandals, all that shit. But it seems more played up, I guess.
Yeah.
Like where they were hiding this, but it's a big reveal. And they were hiding this, but it's a big reveal. This seems like they're genuinely trying to hide shit.
Yeah.
And they genuinely just keep unearthing things.
Right.
And they're like, fuck, like stop digging. And it just all seems so organic. And you've got Craig on the other side of it and having the dynamic of a best friend still be supportive of Austen, but the whole time saying, no, you keep fucking this up. You're fucked up. This whole situation sucks. I don't stand by you there, but I stand by you as a friend. Like you have so many dynamics. You have the scorned ex and Shep, who's trying his best to stay amicable because he's a gentleman, which is hysterical. Like
That
he
is really
refuses
funny.
to give in.
I'm just genuinely a happy guy.
Yeah. Like what a response. Like you're allowed to be upset, man.
Like, I would say that, like, genuinely, I'm a pretty happy guy. But if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to hang out with them. Like, if somebody did something to me, I'm just going to cut them off.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think-
going to affect me being happy still.
It's almost more damning if you bite your tongue and just hang out with people that scorn you, because then you kind of look like a bitch.
Yeah, and then you're not going to be happy anymore.
No, not at all, because now you're a bitch.
No, I agree. And I think that the good thing about Southern Charm has been, obviously, watching for a couple of years, they have all kind of grown within themselves.
Except
So
Austin.
I feel like, but even Austin has.
He's more
If you
self-aware
looked exactly, but that's
his
a
depravity.
huge jump from where he was a couple years ago.
Okay.
But if you were to compare pretty much everybody on the show, who they are today and where they were 5-6 years ago, it's vastly different. I know, they're still Peter Pan men. What did
Peter Panman?
oh fuck, I think Whitney said something.
Peter Pan-I?
Peter Pan. Now we're just stuck.
What
This is gonna happen.
I don't
a
know
couple
what you're
times.
trying to say. Peter Pan syndrome?
Maybe.
Are you trying to say the plural of Peter Pan?
Yep.
Oh,
I wanted to say Peter Pen.
Peter Pen. Yeah. Well, what do you call a lot of pens? Pens.
Pens.
Wow.
Yeah. Not pans.
Peter
Pans. Let's just go with
Peter
pans, all right?
That's not that much fun.
It's not fun.
Peter Potts.
Pods?
Pots and pans.
Oh, I like that. All right. It makes no sense to anybody but us. Anyway, you can see the difference between where they were a couple years ago and where they are now. I don't think that this storyline looks even remotely the same as it would if it were to be the same thing 5-6 years ago. Because you wouldn't have a mature Craig.
Okay.
You wouldn't have a self-aware Austen. You wouldn't have Shep. I don't think that Shep would have been as amicable with Austen, say 4 or 5 years ago, as he is now.
He would be taking. So I think he'd try to be as amicable as he is. I think he'd be taking more shots without even knowing it.
Yeah, probably. I think that we would just get like 1 or 2 more really drunk blow-ups from Shep.
Okay.
Because he's just
Which we still
internalizing
might
everything.
get.
Which we definitely still could get. But I just feel like the way that it works, and to kind of like touch with your dynamics, the dynamics of the whole group, it works really well for this storyline.
Yeah.
Because we get to know them even more and how they actually think.
Mhm.
How, a crazy situation like this can cause them to completely implode, or how they're going to be able to handle it. And I feel like it's working really well this year. And like I said, even though there's not new things that are dropping every episode, the conversations are just captivating.
They're so captivating. And with that, let's just jump right into Southern Charm. But we start out at Patricia's house, and it is their annual gentleman's dinner. I called it the dude's dinner. That makes more sense to me.
Yes.
But they're having the dude's dinner, and they're having a meeting beforehand, and it's Whitney and Shep and Patricia, and they're recapping what happened in the mountains. And Taylor comes up, and he mentions that they kissed. What we didn't really get, and we got more of it today, was the fact that there was a kiss, then he went to bed, then she entered the room and tried to wake him up. So from what it sounds like, she wanted more out of this.
Yes.
And Shep was the one that turned her away. And in his confessional, he says, I don't want this to happen again. I really don't think Shep wants to push it to that place. I do
No.
think that he just wants a friendship with her,
Yeah.
which is interesting because I would imagine that he would jump at any chance he had to hook up. So that was actually surprising for me. And he might have been too drunk to even wake up. But
It's a possibility. He was really drunk, and obviously emotions were all over the place. So I honestly wouldn't have even faulted him if anything more did happen. But for whatever reason, weirdly enough, I believed him when he said that.
I do
He
too.
said that he doesn't want to backslide. And I think it really is that he knows now he does not want a relationship at all.
right.
He knows that nothing good is going to come from hooking up with Taylor. Now, obviously, she's the one who perpetrated it and came in and kissed him, so he can hold that over her head, which he might do,
He will.
which he definitely will do. But for him to have the awareness of, okay, yeah, no, if anything more happens, then it would just get messier and messier, and then I'll never be her friend.
Right.
Because that's the only thing that can come out of that. You're not going to get into another relationship with her. It's not good for either of you. You hook up and go a little bit further than that, she's going to regret it, and she's going to keep her distance. So I think he understands that as much. I don't, again, you have to sit down with Whitney and Patricia and talk about it. I don't understand why you're talking to them about it, but I think
They
that,
seem to be his confidant.
yeah, they probably are.
She's not,
It's funny because I was waiting to see what Whitney's reaction was, just because I want to see how Whitney feels about Taylor, because I want to know if there's more to that. Like if he got a nude, he might be thinking, all right, maybe I will hook up with Taylor. Maybe that
don't
could happen.
think
And he
so.
didn't at all. Like
no.
his reaction was just like, oh shit, what are you doing, Shep?
I don't think that I don't know. He, like, the way that he operates and his feelings, he's just on a different level. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what he's
We
thinking
don't
and
know
feeling most of the time.
Personally, we know nothing
We're
about
not
it.
going to because he's a producer on the show.
Yeah.
He's going to make sure that he shows what he wants you to see
Right.
of Whitney to a certain extent. Like, he's not going to dive into the closets of his relationships and
For
stuff
sure.
like that because he doesn't want that shit getting out there. I'm sure, I'm almost positive that if we were able to successfully dig into Whitney's drama, there's probably a laundry list.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably really good TV too.
It's probably
'Cause
fantastic.
He's such a
TV,
strange dude.
but he's got enough going on with the people on the show that he doesn't have to worry about that aspect of it. But they do say that they're going to have like a royal theme to this, and I have to ask you because I have my thoughts and feelings on the
The
royal
answer is
family.
just no.
I
It's the stupidest fucking thing in the
I
world.
don't
People who are
understand
obsessed
it.
with the royal family, one, not our country. Get over it. Like seriously, even I guess I would understand it a little bit more if the people in England were obsessed with them because they're monarchs and it's like cool for them and classic. I don't care. But to be in America and be obsessed with the royal family is weird.
I don't understand it. I
No.
guess. And like, I'm not saying that if you're saying that if you're into it, you're weird. I'm not saying that. I just simply don't understand. Like, what's the allure? They don't do anything. They're
Yeah.
just born.
They run charities.
You're
They live in the
born.
biggest, most expensive place in the country.
And
They
they,
cost the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars.
yeah. So I guess I
sounds
don't
terrible.
understand it.
Yeah.
It doesn't click. I don't vibe with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, there's a reason why the world doesn't have monarchs really anymore. And it's
Yeah.
because just because you're born doesn't make you special.
I think that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. Yeah. But anyway, now that we've taken a dig
They're
at the
not
royal
even
family,
attractive. Let's just keep going. They're not even hot. Like, at least if they were hot, you'd be like, all right, like, beautiful people. That's cool. Beautiful people in a position of power. Love that. You see, like, a prime minister or something pop up, and you're like, all right.
that's a
I'm
sexy
into that.
prime
Yeah.
minister.
Like a sexy dude, sexy girl, prime minister, all in on that.
Yeah.
I'll be obsessed with that, and then I'll start listening to politics. I don't give a shit about the royal family.
No, I don't either. All right, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yep, there we go.
Moving on, we get to Paige and Craig, and they're talking about what else would they be talking about? They're talking about the future,
Mhm.
and they're trying to figure out their plans moving forward. It's the same conversation that we've heard time in, time out, with no real resolution. And it almost sounds like Paige is surprised. Like, she's like, "Oh, you trying to marry me?" It's like, you know he is. You've had this talk. We've talked about this. We talked about it on Summer House. We're talking about it on Southern Charm. I'm sure he talked about it on Winter House at some point. It comes up all the time. I don't see any leeway, any budging. I don't like she comes up with the same kind of arguments and stuff like that. And look, this is not me talking smack on their relationship. They seem great. Like they seem like they're cool. They seem like they love each other, all that good stuff, all the things you want in a good relationship. For me, though, at what point are we going to get that next conversation where it moves forward? I mean, we got to talk about, well, she needs friends. She likes Madison. Okay, great. But there's a lot more to this in like moving this relationship forward. And she says, I feel like we're still young. Like, yeah, sure, you are. Craig's older. So he wants things different sooner. And I guess, are we reaching a point where there's going to be a breaking point? I know you talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago that at some point you wouldn't be surprised if there was kind of a blow up moment. Whereas I said I could see this kind of continuing how it is. But I think that you're naive to think that there's not some very serious sit down and relatively soon where it's like, look, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I'm trying to figure out where the angle is on all of this because like Bravo teased it last week in the scenes from this week, and they made it seem like Paige was kind of an asshole during the conversation and
She
kind of
was
downplayed.
not. Yeah.
And I didn't think she was at
I didn't
all. Like
either.
even the comment about like, "What are you trying to marry me?" Like that's just playful flirting.
No,
don't
I
know, there's-
agree.
No, I know you're good with it.
I'll stop mansplaining to you.
No, it's okay. You can mansplain to me. But no, I think that the way that Bravo is trying to paint it is, okay, there's more drama here. And there's really not because we're kind of stagnant at this point.
Yeah.
And again, as long as the two of them are okay with the fact that they're stagnant, which, we don't think that Craig really is, but what's he going to do? He's not going to break up with her. That's the love of his life. So he wants to continue. And he knows that eventually something's going to give and they're going to be able to figure the whole thing out. I think we're just kind of seeing baby steps, which baby steps don't really apply to reality TV. We want everything now.
That's
And
a good
instead,
point.
we're getting, okay, well, I need to have a home base down here. So Craig redoes his entire house, buys a house, redoes the entire thing. She really likes the house. Okay, cool. Now what's next? Okay, I need friends. I like Madison. Hang out with Madison. I think based on the conversations that we get, whether it's with Craig and Paige or later when Shep says, I don't even know Paige, like she doesn't come out. I think what they're leading into is we're going to have at some point a scene or an entire episode where Craig and Paige go out and all the boys down there are just complete assholes probably. and there could be a blow up from that, where Paige says, I don't want to hang out with people like Shep and Austen because they're annoying and they need to grow the fuck up and they're not mature. As we've seen Greg, God, as we've seen Craig grow up over the last couple of years, the rest of them haven't. So I don't blame Paige in the sense that she wants to go to Madison. Madison's married. We get to see a completely new Madison talking about how her relationship is great and she feels secure and happy. That's who Paige wants to hang out with. She doesn't want to hang out with the Peter Pan.
The Peter Pan. Nice. Wait a minute. Something just clicked. So if she hangs out with Madison,
yep,
she sees this. That could go one of two ways, though.
Oh no, they can successfully have a long distance marriage.
In the beginning, I was going to say she can see how happy Madison is with like a wife with a husband and a kid, but her husband's gone a lot, so that actually might hurt Craig's argument. She'd be like, "See,
damn,
he's out and about in California all the time, and they're fine, so we're fine today." Like, I didn't think about that part. So it's a double-edged sword. Who knows? I mean, at the bottom line...
You just do the Malibu voice.
I did do the Malibu voice. Couple of brews, cold beach. What is it? Cold brews.
Cold brews, beautiful babes.
Beautiful babe, cold brew, and I'm fine today. If you get that reference, I'm not going to say what it's from. Leave a comment because... I don't know. You'll get something.
That was one of the best documentaries I've seen.
Oh, my God. American... Damn it.
Damn it. Why would you do that?
Cut it. Haha. I'm going to bleep that. Beep. But moving on, we get Rod and Leva. I don't think it's really important. They're trying to keep some life in this Rod Olivia thing. I don't think it's going to pan out. No. But we get to JT and Taylor's picnic.
Fucking hell.
And I was actually bummed I didn't get to watch this scene with you because I would love to hear your commentary during it.
Dude is fucking delusional.
It's
Delulu, if you will.
He's Delulu AF because, look, however you want to look at that weekend or that night away in the mountains, he's like, I had your back, Taylor. It's like, Taylor doesn't really deserve to have support in that moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, neither does Shep.
Neither did Shep, to be clear. Yeah, absolutely not. But like, she poked the bear. Shep responded with a really, really asshole thing to say. They both sucked in that moment. Then, she's not helping herself because then she makes out with Shep and then she gets in bed with Shep. And I'm not placing blame. I understand there's a lot going on here, but it's like, if you want to clean up your image, if you want to start going down a better path here and not give people ammo against you when you're trying to get back in the good graces of people, you have to make better decisions, especially when the people around you are trying to help you do so. Even Austen. When he has that scene where it's like, it was pathetic, and he clearly took it personally.
Yeah.
That's what that was. He was just lashing out because he was bummed out that she got in bed with Shep. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was backsliding. I genuinely believe that. But at the same time, if he was being nice there and trying to say, like, I'm trying to support her and she's not accepting the help, all of these people are in your ear. Olivia has even sat down and given you the time of day. They're trying to help you. You are a disaster right now, and you're not helping yourself at all.
Not only that, but JT did not have her back.
No, he didn't.
What did he do? He made a face?
Yeah, he just stood there.
Dude, sick. Super supportive face that you made there. That really helped her out.
Yeah, you didn't say shit.
You didn't do anything. You came in and tried to break up the tension and make a joke when everybody's freaking the fuck out. Like, you're not even part of it. You're just not part of this crew. You have no leg to stand on. You shouldn't be talking about anything that you don't understand. And it's so fucking weird. Like, of course the dude has his own little picnic set.
I know, right?
What a dork. If you're a single guy, all right, all the single guys out there, you're a single guy out there and you've got a...
Single talk with shoots.
Single talk with shoots. If you're a single guy and you've got a picnic set, grow up.
I disagree. And I know I'm married, so maybe my opinion
You have a picnic set?
I don't have a picnic set, but I think that if you do it the right way and you have the picnic set, you can play it off like, oh, it's so cute if it's not serious. But I feel like his was serious.
His was serious. And it got to the point where I'm actually going to give him credit, first time all season, when Taylor started saying, oh, yeah, I kissed him. Like, it was sort of like an apology kiss. And JT said, do you usually kiss people after or as an apology?
That was a good line.
I thought he was going to immediately say, well, why don't I just like piss you off or something right now and then we can kiss as an apology?
That would have been funny too.
That wouldn't have been funny. That would have been exactly what I expected.
Oh, you think that would be his move?
That would absolutely be
I
his
see
move.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the big bombshell that was dropped is that she initiated with Austen.
Yes.
And I was actually surprised that she was the one that pushed it to that level. And it's confirmed later by Austen, and we'll get there. But JT even says, he goes, that's a pretty big bombshell. And I was like, yeah, it is. And that's going to piss a lot of people off. Because I think that if it was either mutual or Austen centric. This is where they should have had a meeting, Austen
Yeah, for sure.
and Taylor, and been
Yeah.
like, all right, can we just say that you did it because you're not going to catch as much shit? Or just, hey, we don't really know how it happened. Like,
I don't know though, because I feel like, and this is just a logical person speaking. None of the people on the show are logical.
No.
If it's Taylor that initiated, I'm going to give her a little more grace because of where her life is currently versus Austen doing it. That's bad.
I agree with that.
If Austen initiated, then it's like, oh, you're an absolute scumbag.
Oh.
You've been planning on this forever, and you're the one who started this and pushed a vulnerable girl over the edge and made out with her. That's fucked up, dude. Taylor doing it, it's all of a sudden, okay, Taylor's spiraling. She doesn't know where her head is. You guys were drunk. She initiated. That's what happened, and you guys truly didn't do anything more than that. That's not as bad.
That's logical.
Yes.
I'm speaking from a place of who's going to catch the most shit for this, because you know that on Austen's side,
Oh, you're right.
the
Yeah,
dudes are going to sweep it under the rug.
for sure.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not. I think that, again, logically, your way makes way more sense.
Yeah.
But from the mind of these people,
I think JT was hoping it was Austen that initiated,
Oh,
so
for
that he
sure.
could
He
continue
was-
to rip him apart.
watching him get crushed when she talks about other guys is honestly not my favorite thing.
Dude, they went on a European trip. He feels like he's known her for 20 years.
This guy, you know
Just
what?
instantly clicked,
The more we talk about him and the more he does, the more I start to feel bad for him.
I don't.
And even Dev said that earlier. She's like, I feel bad for him. I was like, I don't. And as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'll be damned if I do feel a
I
little bit
think
bad for
the
him.
problem is that you didn't, but now you've met the boss of hating JT. And now you're like, all right, maybe I'm not as bad as
Who,
you.
you?
Yeah. So you're looking at me and you're like, I'm not as bad as you.
CEO.
So I do actually kind of feel bad.
Well, regardless, let's move on. And we get Craig and Austen, and they are sitting at the bar. And this is my issue with Austen, once again, because Olivia texts him twice. He's like, look, two texts from Olivia. It's really convenient that you can sit there now in front of a camera with your buddy and act like you're not playing into this. Open the text. Let's go through the last 12 hours and see the responses, replies, and how much you're texting back. You're making it seem as though she won't leave you alone and that there's something more here. That's just not a good look.
Do you think that noise that his phone made when he got the text messages was actually his phone, or do you think
No, that was
put that in?
production.
So because my thought is those texts probably came through 10, 15 minutes ago, like
he
on the way
saved it.
over, and he just left them on his home screen so
Yeah.
that he could show Craig.
I 1000%
Okay.
agree. All of that was calculated.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Why is
So
production helping him out then?
I think because it plays further into a good season where they're like, ooh, let's keep stirring up the drama
Yeah,
between
maybe.
these two. But that was a move. He planned that. He's like, now I can show that I'm being the good friend and I'm doing the best. And he's saying, I'm really trying not to jumble it up. And I'm starting to not believe that. I think that his intentions are pure. I think that he wants to be the good friend. I think that he wants to be able to stand by her and help without getting overly involved and without pushing it to a different level. I think that's what he, in his heart of hearts, wants.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's capable of pulling that off. And I say that because of his reaction to Taylor getting in bed with Shep. When it's personal, when it's somebody that's close to him, somebody that he's been intimate with, he has this weird, it's not even protecting thing. He just has this weird, it's almost ownership where he's like, no, that's fucked because you're now laying with Shep, but you told me one thing and we kissed, you're not supposed to be with Shep again. That's fucked. And then with Olivia, I think that he wants to play the role of the helpful friend, but I think that he is physically incapable of doing that without muddying the waters.
You might be right. I have a different take on it. I think that Taylor waking up with Shep that day was officially the end of Austen Taylor, their deep friendship and all that shit that was going on.
Oh, that was
I think
the
that's
final
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he finally realized well, this is very messy, very toxic. I obviously am party to a lot of this. I can remove myself from this and kind of stay away. He's in two situations right now that are both terrible.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough. And him even
for him, he put himself there.
Well, of course, yeah, I know. No, I'm not saying I feel bad for him. I'm just
Okay.
saying that's got to be tough to navigate.
Oh, yeah,
that's
sure.
crazy. I can't even figure that. However, I kind of took him for face value on this one. I think that him saying it to Craig, of all people, I think he's taking a little bit of ownership, and I think he's saying, I do want to be friends with her. I'm trying to keep her at a friend's length. However, there are, stepping stones in there where it's going to be a very confusing time, and he might find himself in another situation with Olivia. She's taking off her bra, they're watching a movie, and it doesn't end the same way that it did 2 weeks ago. I think he knows that could be coming, and he wants to try to get ahead of it. I hope.
But again, like him, it goes back to the texts because him having those ready to go, like, look, she won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
Again, open the screen because I don't think that it's that one. You're making it seem like it's one-sided and you're this holier than thou Austen that's not playing into it. She won't stop texting me. Open it. Show us how much you've been responding and how much like you've been sending texts to her. Don't just be like,
that is
she won't leave it alone. It's like, this to me is a setup and you're trying to show the one guy that will believe in you, that you can have some kind of come to Jesus moment, Craig. And the texts make the whole scene fishy. And for me, everything he says after that moment, I take with a grain of salt now.
I think I just want so bad for them to not hook up.
I don't want them
I
to
just
hook
don't want
up
to see
either.
it.
I really don't want them.
I understand TV-wise, that would be, a good turn for the season, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to get involved in any of that, so I'm hoping that what he's saying is true.
What's interesting is that if he wasn't a fuckboy, if he could control himself and be faithful, they make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can.
No.
Hopefully the Austen of the future can with whoever he ends up with.
Austen of the Future.
Austen of the Future. My new
It's
album.
got pretty good, okay. I was gonna say it sounds like a Disney Channel original movie.
Oh, remember those?
Yeah.
Man, those were the days. But we get to the dude's dinner and everybody arrives. They got their smoking jackets on. If you owned a smoking jacket, what color would it be? And why?
I don't know. I do like the dark red ones. I think they look pretty good.
Okay.
I'd probably go with the dark green, though.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
It brings out my eyes a little bit better.
Interesting.
Yeah, from
Okay.
what I understand.
I was going to go with like a hunter green, but
Okay.
since you picked green, I think I would
You don't
go
want to
with...
wear green with me?
No, I would, but
don't wanna
just for the
match?
sake of, adding more to the conversation.
Same.
Same.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. I would also be happy with like a classic like black velvet, black suede kind of
Yeah,
deal.
that is
You
good
know, with
look.
like some white what do you call it? Accoutrement, if you will. We're at a dude's dinner.
Bless you.
Fancy. Salute. But I thought it was weird that, and this shows me that there's a lot more animosity than Shep's leading on, because no one asked him. And he's just like, hey, Austen, Taylor's dog's at my house and so is her car, out of left field. And I was flummoxed. I'm like, do you want to start the evening off this way?
Yes, he does.
Why?
No idea.
Like,
I don't even think Shep knows why.
it just comes out of his mouth. He
Yeah.
can't help himself. But it was weird. And then it goes into what happened at the mountains. We find out that they made out. Then she went to the room. That's when she tried to wake him up. But why bring that up immediately?
I have no idea. Honestly, I think that Shep has never acted on any sort of animosity, and he's always just tried to keep things chill.
You think it's boiling
I
over
think
to the
he has
point
no
where he
fucking
can't control
idea.
it?
Yeah, I
it's
think he
just
doesn't
coming
know how
out.
to have a beef. Like, he's just shouting random things out.
I think that Craig pegs it perfectly, this whole scene. I think that he calls Shep out
Mm-hmm.
because those two are kind of going at it, not really. And Craig finally is like, you can just say that you really fucked me over and I don't know how to be friends with you anymore.
Yeah.
Because if this was me and he hooked up with Paige, I would have no idea how to move forward with him. And Craig gets into his bro code, which he's the only one that can go on this rant. And
The only bro code that made sense.
yeah, and I'm like, that is bro code. All this bro code nonsense we've gotten out of JT and all of this shit during the season, all of that is farce. It is a fallacy. Incorrect. Craig explains it perfectly. This is what bro code is. He didn't adhere to it. You're supposed to be mad. You bottling all of this shit up is only going to result in you being an angry person.
Yep.
And you like to gallivant around and claim that you're not an angry person, that you're always cool, calm, and collected. There are moments and instances where you can lash out and say, hey, Austen, you probably shouldn't have hooked up with my ex because we're best friends and you're fucking gross. And at this time and place, I don't think we can be friends. Hopefully there's a way forward in the future, but until I'm cool with you, because I'm not right now, we're not good. But he's holding so strongly onto this gentleman narrative. I'm a gentleman. I'm happy all the time. First and foremost, sir, you are far from a gentleman. Just because you grew up rich and you have nice things and you speak a certain way doesn't make you a gentleman. You can have a black tie and be a douchebag. Guess what? Look in the mirror, Shep. Like, you're not vindicated in my eyes because you got fucked over this season. And for him to play this role of, this would be the one time he could garner sympathy correctly. This is what's crazy. He's not playing the game the right way.
No.
Which I guess to his credit, at least he's being authentic.
He is definitely being authentic, but it's not helping anyone. I mean, even Austin's sitting there like, dude, just fucking yell at me.
Yeah, he wants it.
He wants it because he knows he deserves it.
I
That's the
know.
one thing. Like, Austin is being pretty real about this whole thing. Yeah, dude, it's a fucked up situation. I'm sorry that I'm even involved in it. Yell at me.
Yeah.
Get mad at me. Show me that you're angry at me. This
Hit
in
me, Daddy.
between, hit me, daddy. Give me a little spank on the bottom. But showing me that you're, trying to play it cool and all this. Like, we sat here weeks ago and said, why is he trying to play it so cool? He must have an ulterior motive. He must be playing the game. He's going to hold it against Taylor and basically, like, kidnap her into friendship using this information, using this situation. Instead, it's just some weird thing that Shep's doing where he doesn't feel like getting into a fight with somebody. I think, honestly, I always forget. And when Shep said he's 43 years old, I think Shep is worried that he's going to lose friends. I think that's like a big thing for him. We actually see it all over. We saw it in the beginning of the season with Austin where he said, Shep was gone. Craig was up in New York. All my friends were gone. I had nothing to do for the weekend. These dudes are old. They are old men and they are trying to go out every weekend. And if they lose one friend, that's half their social life easily. I don't think Shep is in a position right now where he already said, I don't want to get into a relationship. So he doesn't have somebody close to him. He doesn't want to lose a friend because if he loses a friend, he's going to lose a drinking buddy. He's going to lose somebody to go out with on a Friday night and hit on chicks that are half their age.
Perfectly said. I think you just gave me an aha, like light bulb moment. Shep's afraid to be alone.
I think that's true. The rest of it, honestly, I have to like force the analytics because I have no fucking idea. And
No,
I
the
don't think
rest
Shep
of it-
knows.
The rest of it's a question mark. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like you'd have to be able to step into the psyche of a Shep-like person.
very
which is
difficult to
really
do.
hard to do, especially if you don't have that kind of money. But I think that's the nail on the head. I think he's afraid to be alone. He's getting older and he wants his drinking buddies.
Agreed.
Well put. But the end of the night is the boys smoking stogies outside. And I will say right before the scene, Shep's leaving. Like he just gets up and like bounces. And when he's talking to Craig, this goes to show you that Shep doesn't know how to function right now.
Yep.
Because he's like, I said everything I wanted to say. Did I? Did I say everything? And Craig, I don't know. Probably not.
Well, yeah.
I
I'm
doubt
sure
it.
you've got more
because
in there.
You guys still seem quote unquote cool in your own eyes, even though like this is what's crazy. They both will sit there and bury shit, even when it's like right in front of their face.
Uh-huh.
It's right there. Just talk about it now. Go in the other room and talk about it. Stop trying to bury shit. But even Shep's questioning what he just said. Craig's like, are you cool? No, he's not. Like, get it out. One way or the other, fucking fight. I don't care. But have it out because this will not end well. This will end with a massive blowout with those two probably not talking again, except they will because they're Austin and Shep, and they'll probably smooth it over the next day just so they don't lose a friend. But again, we get back to the end of the evening, and we get some prop bets. Love a good prop bet.
Love a good prop bet.
And we get some prop bets on what actually happened between Austin and Taylor. And Craig asks Whitney, like, what do you think? He's like, I'm assuming they fucked. And he's like, well, you have to give me your whole house because no, we didn't. The timeline now, and this is where we keep getting those nuggets of knowledge that keep this show great. Now the timeline's skewed because we have thought, or it's been implied, that something may have happened in New York.
Yeah.
I don't think it was flat out said New York. And
No.
even the cutscenes don't make it like apparent that it was New
Right.
York. But the timeline begins in New York, and allegedly that's where they had kissed. We don't know that for sure, but fast forward, regardless, they had made out and made the decision to not continue forward, and then they had the sleepovers. So you're
Yes.
telling me that after you canoodle with Taylor,
But I always thought that. Yeah, because they were having sleepovers as early or as recent as like the first episode.
I guess
And
I
then
never
they
broke it
supposedly hooked
down.
up before that.
Okay, fair. I had never broken it
It's
down.
definitely super weird, but it's not new information. Like none of this is really new. I think that everybody thought this was going to be a huge bombshell. I don't think this is a bombshell at all. I don't
Oh,
think
see, I
that they ever
disagree.
said we made out in New York. We sat down in New York and figured it out. Go back to the tapes. Taylor said it was after New York. This was 3 weeks later. Timelines obviously on this show make no sense to us ever.
Timelines never make sense to us.
Timelines just never make sense in
What
general.
is time?
I don't know, dude.
Flat circle.
You want to know? I have no idea because we flew back yesterday
3
and
hours
lost
ago
like
in
3
LA.
hours ago. I don't know what's going on. However, when they're going through all of this, I'm like, okay, that's not like a huge thing. I guess the rest of the crew now found out.
Maybe
Oh, you
that's
had
why
the
it's a
sleepovers
bombshell.
after you made out? That's really weird, which it is, objectively speaking, very fucking
You're having
strange.
platonic sleepovers with somebody you made
Yeah,
out with when you're
but
both single.
This isn't like at least in my eyes, this isn't oh shit, Taylor and Austen did not get their story straight. And now Austen just outed Taylor and there's a whole new thing. Because once you start lying about something and somebody finds out that you lied about it, everybody's just going to peek into the specifics of the situation and say, oh, there's definitely more here. You guys definitely hooked up more than once. You guys definitely fucked. You guys did this and that and whatever. I don't think that much new has been shared here, at least with the audience.
I think that regardless of how big this bombshell is, I think it's enough to rattle the cages of Austen where he's going to get frustrated.
Right.
And Taylor's going to get frustrated when he relays the information to her. Neither of them are very good at like maintaining control and not kind of taking it to the next level. Or what's really funny, considering he's done stupid shit so often, they're not good at hiding things. So I think
Ooh.
that this might be enough to rattle the cages to get more out.
I
What you
don't
got?
know. I'm starting to think that this was timed up, actually. What are the odds that Taylor sits down with JT and says, I initiated, and then that night Austen is open about it and says she initiated?
You think it was
Kinda weird.
planned?
Yeah. Let's get our story straight.
Oh,
I'm going to go sit with
hat.
JT. I can tell JT this instead of everybody else because I don't want Olivia to know right now. I can't talk to Olivia about it. She'll fucking kill me. So I'll sit down with JT and talk about it and spill the beans and say I initiated it. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out, I'm sure. But they did it within the same episode. So it's got to be at least a day or two apart. Maybe even the same goddamn day. Who knows?
Interesting.
But it's just weird to
So
me.
this calls into question pre-planning.
Yes. So Taylor sitting down with
Ooh.
JT, while that didn't seem super out of character for Taylor and JT, Austen spilling that much information on camera when they're asking him point blank questions is pretty odd to me.
Interesting.
Because he didn't do that stammering thing. He didn't like
It was
kind
pretty
of like
clear
walk
and
through a
concise.
sentence and then like change his mind and then put his head up in the air and like look around when he lies like he did that in the first episode. He went straight at it.
So either one, it's pre-planned, or two, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, those are the only things.
Both seem
Both could be true.
But that takes us to Potomac, and we are still at Ashley's housewarming party, and we get the ending of that Osu conversation with Wendy and Ashley, which kind of sets you up for the rest of the episode. But the big story here is Robyn's talking to the ladies, and it's really frustrating to watch her defend herself against them when, if you rewatch that scene of like the intervention, the wantervention, if you will,
Yep.
none of them were coming from a place of anger or trying to like poke a hole in her or anything like that. All they were trying to do was show like, hey, we have all been through the same thing. Is it opportunistic for the camera? Sure. Guess what? You're on a reality TV show. All right. So just grin and bear it. Shit happens. As far as those three go, we've seen what these women can do to each other. We've seen how they can talk to each other. This was one of the more vulnerable, open, honest conversations out of Charisse, out of Ashley, out of Giselle. And if you can look at that conversation and not get some kind of support from it, I think it shows you what kind of headspace that she's in. And that, to me, I'm done with the arrangement shit. I don't think it's an arrangement. I think that she is just stuck. And I think that she knows that she's stuck and she's not happy. And if she like leans into what they're doing with this whole thing and gives it more life, I don't think she sees a way out. I don't think she wants to get out because she's that downtrodden to where if I affirm what you ladies are saying, if I get on your team here, I have to make a move. I have to take action to rectify the situation. And I don't have it in me, girls.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of back on board with the arrangement thing.
I'm not at all anymore.
It is tough to watch though because I think we both looked at the scene the same way from last week or the week before. It looked like a vulnerable moment where people were opening up in hopes that Robyn would open up, and she didn't.
No.
And she had another chance today where she's sitting down with all the women, and she's defensive and defensive and defensive. I am done. I don't want to even like support her. I don't even want to insist that, okay, no, you know what? She's just going through a really hard time. She doesn't know what to do, and she's just not really sure how her emotions are displayed when she's talking to these women. She doesn't really care about the collateral damage of saying that they weren't being sincere and they were just trying to dig up information on her. I'm tired of it.
I'm
I'm
being
done
an
with it.
asshole to all of
Yeah,
them.
you're being a dick to people now openly who are just trying to help you. I'm done with it. I actually, I think full on, it's just an arrangement. I think she's pissed off that it came out, and I think that she doesn't feel like answering the questions, and she's just going to keep deflecting.
Well, my whole thing is she keeps referencing the block is hot. And, like, to me, that implies that there's shit happening.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep
Well, they
saying,
did the same thing last year when she brought up the whole Karen in Vegas thing.
I know.
So it's the block's always hot.
But and I'm with you. Like, I am not going to keep getting amped up about this situation because they're not getting amped up about the situation. It's a shitty situation. But Robyn and Karen have a conversation that they are going to be able to move forward. No more rumors. I like the addendum that was in there from Karen where she's like, I will say facts, implying like, I'm still going to talk shit.
I do think when Karen says something like that, though, I think that when she hears rumors, she believes them to be fact. So I think she's still going to spill rumors.
I don't know, man. Because
If it's coming from Karen, it's a fact.
But is she wrong in this one?
Probably not.
No. So
No.
that's where, like,
It's just that she didn't have hard evidence to back it up.
she's not one that just starts talking shit, though. We even see, like, the flashback of that one scene when they were having the picnic in the park at the beginning of last season.
Yeah.
Where they're talking shit about Mia. And she's like, I'm not going to perpetuate this. Until we hear from her, I'm not saying anything. So, like, I'm not saying she hasn't started some rumors. But at the very least, when it comes to Karen, like, we have video evidence of her not throwing somebody under the bus. We don't have that for a lot of the other women.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
I feel like Karen's the type that wouldn't share the rumor unless she thought it was true, though.
I think she's smarter than that.
Yeah.
I think she needs to have a little bit more.
So she kind of just protected herself. So she
Yeah.
can still do exactly what she's been doing.
Right.
But she had this conversation. So now when it comes back on her and she says something about Robyn, she can say, hey, I think it's true. I think it's a fact.
Yeah. Robyn's playing checkers. The Grand Dame's playing chess. But Wendy and Mia are still not cool. I don't know if they'll ever be cool. And to Wendy's credit, like, if you threw a drink at me, like, or if I threw a drink at you, would you be cool with me? Probably not. It's okay for her to not be cool. They don't have to, and I think this is something that gets under your skin. You don't have to be cool just because you're on the same show.
Exactly.
You are allowed to not like each other. That's okay.
However, I do think that if it was a different, or if the roles were reversed and Wendy threw the drink at Mia, I do think that Mia could get over that because that's kind of what Mia does. Like they live completely different lives. And Mia has been super open about this. I talk shit. I get into these types of altercations. This is what happens, but I can be okay with it at the end of the day. Wendy is not. So I feel like if it was the other way around, Mia would be pissed off for a couple of weeks and it would be a storyline for a while. But I think she could smooth it over at some point because she doesn't see it as that big of a deal. Wendy sees it as like a huge slight.
Yeah. And, Wendy does take things very personally. And, getting a drink thrown at her is personal and it almost got physical. So, like, that I get.
Yeah.
She has a much harder time sweeping things under the rug and moving on, especially compared to Mia. But we get one comment out of Wendy where Mia is questioning whether or not Wendy, like, uplifts women and support of other women. And she says that she can't lift her up because she's slow. And then she says, you're too low. And then she says, you're slow again. Now, sensitive subject, obviously. However, is Mia actually upset because her son has a speech impediment? Or is she using this, like Ashley said, she found an angle and she's gonna exploit it?
The latter, for sure.
I think so.
I don't think that Mia really... I think that Mia felt super disrespected by that and did not know what to say.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, which is very rare for Mia because she usually has a comeback, and whether the comeback lands or not is not really her. Yeah, doesn't really matter for her. She's still going to say it, but she had nothing to say in that moment, and she was being absolutely ripped apart by Wendy. And there was no emotion there either. I think that's the biggest part is if they were in some sort of like screaming match back and forth, it wouldn't really matter as much because then Mia can just get anything over as much as she wants. In this sense, it was a very calm, cool, and collected Wendy telling Mia, I don't want anything to do with you because of what you did. And completely threw her under the bus by calling her low. And she was absolutely ripping her apart about the whole political views and saying that, some of this is a little highbrow and other people might not understand this. Talking about Mia directly.
That wasn't political views. That was your intelligence level.
Yeah. Well, no. She was talking about her political show.
Oh,
that's when the conversation.
She was saying highbrow as in you're not smart enough to understand what I'm talking about, so don't even try.
Which the two should be the same thing. Just because you just because you follow politics, it doesn't make you smart.
I don't think this is a political dig.
I know it wasn't a political dig. I was just talking about the content.
Okay. It's an intelligence dig.
Now,
you're dumb.
I made a political dig, but
you're dumb.
You're low.
You're low. But this is interesting to me when you get Robyn and Nneka together because Nneka hasn't been around, right? So she doesn't know the ins and outs of Robyn and Juan Dixon.
She didn't watch the film.
She didn't check tape.
Nope.
She did not check
Monday
tape.
morning quarterback.
But she comes in and says it's weird, like, I'm sorry that people are telling you how to live your life. And Robyn's like, oh, it's just social media and rumors and it's being perpetuated by these people. It's like, no, it's being perpetuated by your dumb husband. And does Nneka know about all of that stuff? Because if she did, she might not be rallying behind Robyn of all people. And this is the last person that I wanted her to hitch her wagon to.
For sure.
I don't need her with Robyn. I don't need Robyn. I definitely don't need the newbie being besties with Robyn.
And she also needs to understand who Robyn is cool with and who she isn't. And obviously right now she's not really cool with anybody outside of Giselle. The rest of them tried to get through to her, didn't get through to her. They're just going to leave her alone. Nneka trying to hitch her wagon to Robyn means that Nneka's going to, at least initially, probably have the same type of relationship as Robyn has with the other women.
Yeah.
Specifically Wendy.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't like it, but I do like when Wendy takes open digs and she's like inviting Ashley to the communion in front of multiple people that are not invited to the communion. Like to take the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything she does is intentional. She has intent behind nearly every single thing she does and says. And there's a part of me that gets a little irritated with it sometimes, but there's a big part of me that's like, at least you're consistent and it does push the show forward. We're back with Wendy and Eddie, and I need Eddie's sweatshirt.
Oh, dude, right?
Happy Eddie, first of all, it was a dope sweatshirt. Like, that was a cool design.
Yep.
Second, it was hysterical. That Happy Eddie merch there's very few things I see on Bravo across the board where I'm like, oh, I would wear that.
Especially when it's like, it came from the show.
That's
like
what
the
I mean.
inception of a clothing line came from the show. Shout out Lala.
There you go. Nice. But this one, I would wear a Happy Eddie sweatshirt. That thing was really cool.
Yeah.
But they're talking about Nneka and that whole situation, and we get it laid out again where Wendy's like, all right, isn't this weird, Eddie? I don't really know this chick, and she's out here talking shit about me. And it's really strange because you would have thought that she would have given me a chance to show who I am first. Now, I predicted this last week. I said they've definitely met. Wendy's giving me the vibe that she's trying to act like they haven't, but I think that they have met. We get confirmation of that from Nneka. She says, like, we've had some interactions.
We met at a concert. We met at a birthday party, I
Something like
think.
that,
Maybe
yeah,
a
like
wedding.
dinner or something.
Yep.
Maybe it was a wedding. And so she was confused by the fact that when they got to meet this time, she treated it as like, oh, it's nice to meet you instead of a nice to see you moment.
Right.
And we're kind of jumping around here, which is fine. But Nneka starts to jump into a crazy story about Wendy's mom. And this is while they're at the communion. You get that. The side-by-side scene here is so good
You
because
could say juxtapose there.
I can't.
Juxtaposition.
See, we can't go an episode without saying it.
But that's
I
a
was
good
trying
word.
so hard to not say juxtaposed, and there it is.
That's
But
fine.
that scene juxtaposed to this scene was amazing because you got Wendy's mom saying a prayer and she's getting animated with it. She's getting deep with it. And on the flip side, you have Nneka saying her mom called my in-law and said that she put a curse on her.
She had a shrine.
She said that she had a shrine and that she prays for bad things about people and to ask around the DMV. You ask around about the people that I've put curses on, essentially, and see how they're doing. Newsflash, not great.
Not
Wink.
great.
So
I did not see Wendy's mom becoming a huge, like, this isn't like a Bravo reality TV villain. This is like a MCU Avengers level threat.
you know how excited I got when I realized that this is what we're going to be focused on for a little
I fucking
while.
hope so. So you do believe Nneka?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Because I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's funny. I'm giving Nneka the benefit of the doubt because she's new. We don't have a track record with her. We don't have,
I tend to do that too. Yeah.
yeah, we don't have like the game film, if you will, on how, what her personality is, if she makes shit up or not.
Sure.
We do have it for Wendy.
Yes.
I can easily see Wendy turning the other cheek or giving, what did she say? Giving us like weird eyebrows from across the room. So she knows exactly who she is. And we've said that. We know that she knows who she is.
Mhm.
Like there's no, yeah, maybe you haven't cordially met and talked, but when Nneka starts talking about it and there's photographical evidence of her cousin and Wendy's sister-in-law being friends, being in a wedding picture together, that's like 1 degree of
I
separation.
thought Ivy was her sister.
Was it his sister
Yeah,
or
Ivy's the
sister-in-law?
sister
Oh, I thought it
because
was
the
Eddie's
in-law-
sister.
No,
Oh, okay.
They talk to the in-laws.
Okay.
That's
Then-
my point.
Yeah. So then it's even closer.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
so
it's
like, you definitely know
it's like
this
one
person.
degree of separation. So you absolutely know who this person is.
So to act like you have no idea, that furthers my belief in Nneka, what she's saying, because now I'm like, all right, well, if you're refusing to acknowledge that there was some, even if it's not a relationship, but an acquaintance with this person, you're refusing to acknowledge it happened. But all this shit's happening behind the scenes and you have no idea who this woman is, there's no shot.
Why do you think that she would do that, though? Like, why would you try to downplay it if you know that this is the information that could come out?
Because I think it paints her mom in a bad light. And I think
Well,
that
it
you're
definitely
not gonna,
does.
you
Yeah.
know, it's not, you're not going to jump on
Her mom's
board.
cursing people. It absolutely paints her.
But dude, is that not like,
It's sick.
it's so sick.
It's fucking cool.
I am so on board for this narrative.
We got a little bit of the voodoo stuff in Miami last year, if
That's
you
right.
remember that.
Oh, it was,
that was fun.
what did they call it? It was, fuck. It
Oh, I'm
started with
thinking
a
of New
B.
Jersey.
No, it started with a B. It was, Brujeria.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think that was it.
I think you're right.
But yeah, if this is where they go with it, like, hell yeah. But backtracking ever so slightly, we do get a scene with Karen and Mia and the kids, and like this is when we find out about her son having a disability, which I'm not saying he does not have a speech impediment by any means. I was just curious whether or not she was using that to her advantage and whether this actually upset her.
Yeah, and I think
Like you said,
Karen,
what she said.
Karen's reaction to that was genuine.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it's not like Wendy knew what was going on. Like, I don't think that she was using it against you. So you can't be mad at her for saying that.
You can be
I mean, you can be
frustrated.
mad at her because she called you slow.
Yeah, and you
but-
can also like educate her where you're like, hey, my son has this, like, please don't, and you don't have to be, you guys
I
aren't
don't know,
cool
though, because
anyway.
if Mia did that in the moment, everybody at that table would be like, all right, that's a cop-out.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because of Mia's track record. And that's the worst part is, like, it's the boy who called, or what is it, boy who called wolf?
Boy who cried wolf.
Oh my
There,
God, what a bad day this is
Woo!
for us. The boy who cried wolf. And I think that's kind of where it is. Like, Mia has set up herself for years now of that type of behavior. So she really can't say something that's true and have everybody believe it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But we get Ashley with Karen, and Karen gets bit by a bug walking in.
So funny.
It was funny. But the Michael lawsuit comes up, and this is going to be frustrating because I will not sit here and listen to Ashley say time and time again, I don't know what's going on. You should ask Candiace. She knows more what's going on. It's like, we know you know what's going on. So either stop referencing it, start talking about it, or move on.
Yep.
I'm sick of it. Or Candiace talk about it. Somebody talk about it. But I also understand if it's a lawsuit, like, you can't talk about it. And I guess Ashley's still
She's still technically married. Yeah, so
is that why?
No.
Dun, dun, dun.
No, she's absolutely just like trying to not get involved. However, when it comes to Ashley, anytime that she actively tries to not get involved with something,
She takes
my
over.
flags go off. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on.
She's also behind the scenes trying to get involved. She doesn't like being out of the
Yeah.
drama. She will insert herself into
So
any
her wanting to be out of something like that makes me question why. Why is she not talking about this? Why is she not talking shit on Candiace?
Fair.
She afraid of Candiace? Michael going to lose the
No,
lawsuit?
she's definitely afraid of Candiace.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because Candiace, she cuts the deepest. Like,
Oh, which makes me laugh, by the way, when Nneka and Robyn were sitting at the bar when they were still at Ashley's party and Deborah walked behind them. Did you hear the music that Bravo played?
no.
Oh, dude, it was like this little like evil like cartoon music
I
in
didn't
the
even
background.
notice
Yeah,
it.
it
I
was
must
so
have been
funny.
taking notes. That's hysterical. But even Karen acknowledges it. Like, we've all heard this rumor, like, that Candiace is getting sued over.
Yeah.
It's just Candiace talks the best shit. So she caught the stray. We've all been talking about it.
Yep.
The way she says things, she's so good at vocalizing shit talking that she caught a case because of it.
Yeah.
But
It's like going to the Hall of Fame.
I know she is in the Hall of Fame of shit talking. There's no denying that. But we get clarification from Ashley that she is the one that said the article or brought up the article about Wendy being Osu and her family being Osu. It was
Yep.
not Nneka, as we know. But Karen is even like, what the fuck, man? Like, you cannot help yourself. You simply cannot help yourself. And then this is what drives me crazy with Ashley. And she did it earlier in the episode with the Michael Darby stuff. The playing dumb, like it's fooling anybody. So it goes to the confessional. She's like, I misremembered it. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You tried to start some shit. It worked. and now you're backpedaling because
Yep.
that's what you do. You plant the seed. You walk like there's a difference between her and some of the like Meredith Marks. She'll plant the seed and walk away.
But why did she
Plants the
realize?
seed and waters it ever so slightly.
Why did she realize that? And why did she go to Wendy and say, "Hey, I misremembered that. It was actually me that brought that up, not her."
Immediately.
Why would she do that? Why wouldn't she just leave it go? Because that's what Ashley does best is says shit like that. Then the fights start to happen, and she just kind of moves herself
There's an
out of the
ulterior
way.
motive here.
I know, but what is it?
We'll
It's
find
driving
out.
me crazy.
We'll get to the bottom of it before it shows. We're pretty good.
It's driving me
We can
crazy.
do this, man. But we get to the first communion, and Ashley arrives and decides to sit directly next to Candiace, which was a wild move to me. But this is what separates Candiace from, I think, a lot of the rest of the women. I genuinely believe her when she says to Ashley, like, I can be in the same room as you. Like, this can be fine. The problem is, I think Candiace can definitely be in the same room, be cordial, all that stuff. Ashley cannot help herself to say something. The other women in the group can't help but say certain things. If you leave Candiace be, I don't think she's gonna like start shit.
No, she definitely won't. But
They have to poke the bear. Like they cannot.
They do, but also, I mean, Candiace did start it off with well, my bag's sitting there. Can I get another chair for my bag
Well,
so that you
because
still
they're
don't
not
sit right next to
cool.
me? Yeah, I know they're not cool.
I think it's a dig from Ashley initially. To be like,
I think
I'm gonna
Candiace
sit
is
here.
still gonna take shots.
Well, yeah, of course.
At least for now. And once things die down, she won't.
But to know that they can be cordial, I believe that they can. I don't think Ashley's going to let it lie. I think she's going to poke the bear. I think Candiace is going to snap back a little bit, and shit's going to escalate. But even in that moment, for me, when you break it down, and sorry for doing this, but you break it down logically, use your brain, I would never speak to you again. We wouldn't be in the same room together because of the shit that you started last year. You tried to ruin our marriage. And the way that Ashley goes about this, she acts like it's just some other drama that got started on a TV show. It's like, no, if you really break down the ins and outs of what you were attempting to do with your friends, with your skeevy, gross friends that you connive behind the scenes to break up the marriage for good TV, like that's when you enter the level again of this is not fun. You don't go for people's marriages. You don't go for real life shit because there's real life ramifications. So yeah, it's very understandable that you guys cannot reconnect. And I love that Ashley in her side scenes without Candiace plays the role of like a victim almost, where it's like, oh, we just can't reconcile. Like she said she wants nothing to do with me. It's like, yeah, why, dude? Because you are deplorable. The shit that you pulled last year is awful. It's reprehensible. You shouldn't be in the same room as her.
Yeah, I think those are like the two ways of thinking about being on a TV show like this too, where Ashley realizes, oh yeah, like I can do anything that I want and spark up any rumor that I want, and everybody knows that it came from me, and I expect them to just be okay with that when everything gets squashed at some point in time, and then we can just move on and be friends again. That's not how it works. Candiace is a better person than I am, better person than both of us are probably. She can sit there on the TV show and say, yeah, I can still be cordial with you, but I'm not going to be fucking friends with you.
Yeah, we're done.
After what you did. Like, that's a logical way to speak about it. And also still be on the same TV show with them.
Yeah. But that's when they start getting back into the conversation about what was said about the Osu article and all of that. And Ashley admits, at least, that, I misremembered. I misrepresented the situation is what she says.
Yes.
Rather than say, yeah, I started some shit and that's my bad. I misrepresented the situation. Nneka didn't say that stuff. My bad. And Wendy, thank God Wendy is Wendy, because this isn't a moment where she's like, oh, it's fine. We're cool. Thanks for being honest. It's a moment where she's like, I'm going to log that in the back of my brain because you're shady as fuck. Goes to the cut of Candiace doing what Candiace does best. And she's like, see, I don't even have to say anything. I just let her do her thing. And she buries herself. She's so full of lies. That's why her forehead is so big.
Yeah. But that's even what Candiace said when we got the scene earlier with Candiace and Wendy out to lunch, talking about Ashley. Candiace said exactly what we've said for the last 3 weeks. Ashley has been in the show long enough and she started enough shit that you know exactly what she's going to do. She's got the same playbook that she's always had.
Yep.
So as soon as she says something, you know it's probably not true. And there's always some sort of another end of the story or from a different perspective that shows that Ashley's the one who perpetrated all of this. I think Wendy is slowly starting to realize that too, because you have that conversation with Candiace, and then the very next day, Ashley comes in and says, oh, you know what? Nneka didn't say that. I said it. Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, no shit. And I think that you're right. I think Wendy had like that aha moment where she's like, oh, this is how you operate.
Yes.
because I've seen it a little bit last year.
We
This
need
is-
everybody to fucking know that. I just want everybody on this show to know how Ashley and Giselle operate. And Robyn to an extent, but Robyn's got her own shit going on right now, so she's not going to be part of the whole green-eyed bandits thing. I think Ashley's kind of subbing in right now.
I think that's true, and I think that it's hysterical. And we already talked about them discussing Wendy and Wendy's mom, but it's so funny to me that Robyn's like, I have so much shit going on in my life right now. Maybe she put a curse on me. It's like, no, your husband did, dude.
Yeah, no.
Your husband put that curse
Your
on
husband
you.
or whatever weird-ass situation you guys have going on over there, that's the culprit.
It is not Wendy's mom. Wendy's mom may have cursed Nneka and her family, did not curse you. Juan did. Look in the family picture. That man standing next to you, he's the problem.
I'm a little scared of Wendy's mom.
We didn't say anything bad about Wendy's mom.
No, I know, but I don't want to.
No, I don't either. I don't want to get cursed.
All right.
I don't want to end up on the shrine.
Nope.
We got too many things cooking right now. The bros are on fire. We do not need a hex right now. Okay.
No.
I can't say it enough.
You guys can make a shrine for us if you want. Anybody wants to
shrines
put
are
together like a
fine.
BravBros shrine?
Well, I don't like that either, actually.
A little
Maybe-
creepy.
Maybe a shooter shrine. But no, I don't
be all
wanna
right
be
with
on
that.
shrine.
It's the
I know
highest
you
form
would.
of a
It's not
compliment.
surprising at all that you
No.
would actually enjoy that. But I'm cool. But that takes us to the question portion of the show. So let's jump right in. Up first from Marley W. Cahoon. Who do you think is a bigger narcissist, Shep or Linda?
Linda.
Yeah, me too.
Because Linda has kids and she abandoned her kids to go for her dream job in New York.
Yeah, Linda.
Which was waitressing, I think.
And Shep is at the very least self-aware. At times, Linda has shown zero self-awareness. So, Linda. From RSC Gen 28. If Ralph is the biggest asshole on Bravo and Ryan is the biggest douchebag, what's Juan Dixon?
He could be the biggest cheater.
He's the biggest dickhead.
Yeah.
That's what he is. We're bringing that word back.
Yeah, scumbag maybe.
Scumbag, the biggest
Piece of shit.
Nah. He's the
Fuck stick.
biggest loser.
Nice.
Now airing on ABC. I don't know. Free plug. No, I think that show's gone.
It's Biggest Loser time. It's Daddy's
favorite show. Oh, no. We can't do that.
He blew up a car.
He did a lot of things, apparently. We can't reference him. From Maduro29, Ashley is so messy. Good for the show or bringing down the vibes?
Bringing down the
He's
vibes.
definitely bringing down the vibes. She's not.
You can be messy as long as you use facts.
We see it frequently. Lots
Yeah.
of people on a lot of these shows are messy as hell.
The biggest stars on these shows.
You know what? It's not even bring facts. It's be more creative. She does the same thing.
I don't want her to be.
every
I don't want her to be
time.
more creative.
No, I'm just telling you what
She might
would be
successfully
better.
bring
I'm
down a
not sa-
marriage.
You're putting words in my mouth. From
I
Cal,
didn't say that.
From Cal Minton. Not a question. The only time I've ever liked Wendy was seeing her with her kids for their communication. Oh, that wasn't a question, which you prefaced, I guess. So it's my fault for reading it all the way through. But I'm not on the like or hate train on Wendy. I never really have been. There's moments that I really enjoy her on screen. There's moments that I don't. I think that she's good for the show. I think that her issue lies in she gets stuck on certain things that aren't good for the show. Like the bar last year, that whole thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
really care.
I think that with Wendy, unfortunately, like for me, there's too many goddamn housewives on Potomac. So I really have an opinion of her because she doesn't get a ton of screen time.
She's gotten more this year.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
looks
and
like
she
she's taking
will.
center stage.
So
now.
I'll hold my opinion on Wendy until, a couple more weeks.
Let's see how this
Need more
season goes
information.
because she's
Yeah.
taking center stage of what could be. This is going to go one of two ways. It's going to be awesome and great to watch if we get into like the supernatural religious side of things. Is it disrespectful to say supernatural and religious?
Not to me.
Okay, cool. Or it's going to get so ridiculous and far-fetched that we're going to be like, okay, we need to reel it in.
I mean,
Time will tell.
it's like 75% the latter, probably.
Time will tell.
Time will tell, though. What is
But,
time?
What is time? Baby, don't hurt me. This is where we're at in our lives. Okay? We are shells
For
of
today,
humans.
next episode, we'll be back on point.
I don't know. I kind of like this vibe.
I feel high.
I got my bubbly hoodie on. This thing is cozy as shit. That's not even an ad. I just am a big fan of these bubbly hoodies.
Yeah. Good
But,
hoodie weather.
What?
Good hoodie weather.
It's great hoodie weather. And other than that, you got anything else?
No.
Birds are 9-1. Victory Tuesday today.
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you this week again. Don't you worry. We got 2 episodes. We don't stop for holidays. We don't have lives. We do whatever we have to do for all of yous.
We do have lives.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are they? Bravo! But that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, stop asking me if I have anything.
So make sure you follow us on all of our socials at Brav_Bros. YouTube, subscribe at BravBros Podcast, and have yourselves a lovely Thanksgiving. Got anything else?
Go Birds.
Go Birds.